All right, so I talk a lot in my YouTube channel to a lot of women who are traveling, but I really wanted to hear from a guy today and hear a male perspective. So today I am chatting with Romain. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, from France. And he lives here. He's based here in India now, originally from France. And I guess what drew you here and kept you here? Why did you like India?
First of all, I was planning to travel around the world and make a lot of countries or different places. And I decided to come to India because maybe I was doing yoga in France already, so I wanted to learn more about it. So it was a perfect place for that. Also, I wanted to start by the most challenging country, and this for me was the most challenging country. So I was thinking, like, if I go to India, I would be able to go everywhere around the world.
Right.
So yeah, my trip starts basically to Sri Lanka and then to India, and I spent like a year and a half traveling around and learning about Hinduism, all the philosophy, Indian philosophy, and all meditation things. And I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to stay here, and I just finally landed by pure luck in Bangalore, where I find this opportunity to work here, and this is how I start being settled somewhere in a place and how I arrived here. It's super safe. Like, people think India is not safe, and I would say, like, I've never felt unsafe in India, basically. And in France, there is a lot of time that I really feel unsafe in the street or in a special area, and that never happened to me. And I've been in really, sorry for the word, but like really places, like crappy places in Delhi or wherever.
Yeah.
And all the time people, like, because I'm a photographer, so I like to go like in the dirty place and take pictures from that.
Yeah.
And all the people all the time, like from the kind of ghettos, they come to me and they're really happy to see me, and they're like, oh, can you take my portrait, and things like this. So yeah.
Do you have any advice for people who are thinking about coming to India, or things that you wish you knew before you came?
Just one thing, be careful to use stuff when you're in the train. So what's the bad things that happened to me is...
Did you get something stolen?
Yeah, so I get all my stuff stolen, basically. My credit card, my passports, all my bag. I still have like only my phone, and I was on a 50-hour train ride, so I spent 2 days in the train with nothing. But yeah, that was...
Oh my god, wait, so where were you going to and from?
So I was going from Kerala to Rishikesh.
Okay.
In the mountains, so it was like
That's
from down south to up north.
Because I took a train from Kerala from Jaipur to Kerala, long train ride. You went even a bit farther.
Yeah.
Going to Rishikesh, or from Rishikesh. So, wait a minute. So, what class were you in?
Sleeper class.
Sleeper class. Okay, so if you don't know, there's levels of classes. Sleeper class is not the lowest, but it's certainly not the highest. It's kind of like middle of the road, I would say, right? But it can get a little bit full.
Yeah, so yeah, you have like the seats are named, so you don't have like crowd inside, but yeah, it could be like full with luggage and people and stuff. But yeah, so this is the lowest sleeper class.
Tell me, sometimes people though will come in and sit in the sleeper class seats, even if it's not their seat.
Yeah, so I never understand why, and I never understand if they have tickets.
Because there's no rules.
Yeah, there's no rule for that. But just when the guy come and check the tickets, he will bring the guy back. So maybe they come from somewhere else in the train and they come to sit here. I don't know why.
So
yeah,
do
sometimes
you know
it happens.
when you were? Was it just your wallet and stuff that got robbed, or was it everything?
my full bag.
Your full bag?
Yeah, so I just have my phone, so I survived with my phone. So your phone, keep it always with you. And I was stupid, because usually I get my passport with me and all the time, and I don't know, this time I was so happy to travel to the mountains. I put everything in my bag.
And where was your bag?
My bag was
to where you were.
So there is like this sleeper, all the three level of sleeper. I was at the upper level, and my bag was in front of me. But the thing is, like, there is no one in the train at that time. So no one can see someone take my bag. That's why.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm trying to visualize. So you're on the upper level.
Yeah, upper level, and my bag is on the upper level, on the opposite seat.
On the opposite seat.
Yeah.
But then how did they get it? Or you don't really know?
I was sleeping.
You were sleeping.
It's a sleeping train.
It's a long ride. At some point you have to sleep. It's 2 days.
Yeah.
And then you woke up and at one point it was gone.
Yeah, I woke up at 6 in the morning and I see like no bags there, so I just tried to figure out just someone move it, and
Now this is terrible, because I always tend to feel safe on trains, and I'll say I've seen Indians locking their possessions onto the train.
That's what I do right now. I have all the time a chain with me, with a
Yeah.
locker, and I lock my bag to the seats.
And see, I always used to think that seemed excessive, but clearly
No, it's not excessive.
It's not
Yeah, so if you
excessive.
want an advice, do this. Travel all the time with a chain in your bag. That's really convenient.
wow. Well, that's a bummer, but I'm glad that.
Yeah,
but he still loves India.
Yeah, I
Stayed.
still love it. And I was like, actually, it was like a really good experience because like I have nothing, no comfort at all, no money, so I could not have any food, anything. So I just have to speak with people, and all the people comes to help me. And because of that, I finish arriving in a family and spend 3 days in the family from the guy I met in the train who brings me. Oh, you don't have anything? Come out to my family.
Aww.
And I spend in the mountain in the family. So it was finally a good thing. So it's just like my stuff, my clothes. So I
Yeah.
just like lost not much, and it's from what I get in return was like way better. So yeah.
See, I love this. And it also goes to show, though, how important mindset is. Because you know what? Someone else with a different and more negative mindset would allow that experience to ruin their trip. They'd hate India, never want to come back, would have only negative things to say and only take something negative away from that. But you know, I love that you were like, okay, well, I'm going to make friends on this train and it's only clothes. Like, yeah, it's like a little bit of hassle that you had to go through, but I don't know. I love that you sort of turned it into something positive.
A lesson, yeah. It was
Yeah.
a good lesson.
That makes me so happy because you know, like things happen with travel, and you know, even with my channel, like I like to post a lot of positive things and positive experiences, but I like to also show the not so great days and the hard days so that people get a well-rounded perspective to know that travel isn't always perfect. Being overseas isn't always perfect, but you can keep going. You can learn something from it. You can deal with the days when you're sick, when stuff is stolen from you or whatever, and like keep going and still enjoy your life. So I think that's so wonderful.
Yeah. So don't think like traveling is like a paradise on earth. Like you have like to face struggle, and this is part of the trip. But like you have to face it, and it's every time for me a great lesson to have this kind of experience.
Well said. I love it. And now you mentioned how you felt that India would be kind of like the most intimidating place, you know, to travel. So you wanted to get that under your belt, I guess. What were you concerned about from the start?
I think like I would face like reality, like in our country we are quite like out of all this poverty and all these things, and like when you're in India really facing everything, like the high, I'm going to say that like the really rich person who have like 10 times more richer than me, and like the people who are like really poor, and I think facing this reality was like a great opening for me, and like realize like this is really about outside your little comfort zone that I had in France before. So yeah, that was basically why I wanted to discover India, and also yeah, like the culture is like so different. It's like another planet almost. Like all the languages, all the way that they worship their gods and everything was like something that I was fascinated by.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I guess, what do you like the most? You've been here for a few years now.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of keeps you here? Because you could travel, you could leave more places, you could go to
so first
somewhere else.
I got addicted to the food. Yeah, so when I traveled, like an example, I traveled for a month in Vietnam, and my last week in Vietnam I was going every day to Indian restaurants because I really love the Indian food. It's something like you get addicted to it very quickly, and I'm vegetarian also, so it's like really easy for me to be able to eat vegetarian and have like a big variety of food. So yeah, it's one of the first one. And well, India is like, I love like the way they are open-minded. You can speak about everything. Spirituality is very accessible here to speak with people of anything. So yeah, that's something that I really like. And life is more simple. We don't have all these rules that we have in our Western countries. You can really do like whatever you want. It's like sometimes it's too much, no rules, but you need to find a balance between it. But yeah, it's a good thing to experiment something different, and I feel more freedom here than the restriction that we have in France, for example.
It's funny that you say that, because literally I just did a chat, which I'll post the link to, about how I was talking to an Indian guy and how I was feeling like it's more free here in India. He was saying it's not freedom. But I feel like there are less rules here, and it's funny to me that you feel the same way. I guess from your perspective, what part feels more free to you?
That's a good question. Like there is less restriction, like for example the roads, like there is no rules at the roads. Like it's a basic example, but it will be like a great image to figure out how is it in India. It's like there is no rules, but it works very well, and I don't see much accidents. And it's like a huge population, so there is a lot of traffic, but it works, and it really works.
It's funny to me that we're both foreigners and felt the same way. And like I was talking to the Indian guy who was literally like, no, like that's not freedom. Like, because that was the example that came to my mind. I was like, but you know, you just kind of go where you need to go and it feels kind of free. And he was like, no. But yeah, like to me, India does feel a bit less restricted, but maybe that's our privilege as foreigners. We didn't grow up here. I don't know. Obviously, the experience is going to be different for us. But I just think it's fascinating that you felt that too.
Yeah, so maybe also it's like, as you said, we didn't grow up here, so we don't have like, they don't have like they have the society pressure, which make rules for them, like the family pressure that they have, that we don't have as a foreigners and like just being free from ourselves. But they do have like, as in India, like good, big family pressure. So they have rules from the family and from the society, not from the government properly, like we have in France and stuff. So they are not less free in that way, I think.
Yeah. And I must say, like that's true for India, for Thailand, for so many countries in Asia. I've heard about so many different family obligations, family rules that are so different than like in the US or a lot of countries in Europe that it feels kind of stifling. I would feel stifled by it, and I think a lot of people do as well, which is a big difference. But so I love that you got addicted to the food, because I really love it too. Yeah. And I'm a vegetarian as well, I'm a vegan. So like there's just so many options here that I feel like are delicious. So actually, what's your favorite?
I love like South Indian food, so like the breakfast, do they have like all the dosas and idli and all these kind of little snacks? That's really what I love.
Now, do you ever have trouble? See, I also have trouble with Indian food because although I love Indian food with a passion, I don't like to eat rice and I don't like to eat chapatis. So I will go to restaurants and literally they won't serve me. Like where I'm trying to explain that I only want like the sabji and they think they don't understand or just like no. And I'm like, no, but I just want the sambar. It
doesn't work for them.
It doesn't work.
It's a combination. Yeah.
The other day, literally, I ordered an idli just so I could get the sambar.
Okay. And you didn't get the idli?
I got the idli, but I didn't eat it. It was because I'd had a 10-minute conversation just trying to get the sambar, and they wouldn't do it. So I had to order one idli to get the sambar. So okay, this is my problem. You don't mind eating the rice? And all
the rice at the beginning, I was like, I can't eat any piece of rice anymore. But yeah, chapati is fine. I really like it, but like rice, I was like, no rice anymore. But I get reused to it, so now I'm okay with rice. But I had the same at a point I would not be able to eat any rice, just vegetables and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I get used to it because like in France I don't even eat rice much, like maybe once a month before, that's it. So
yeah, it's absolutely not something that was typical for me at all. And the amount of rice that Indians eat is
that's crazy.
Shocking. Like
it's a mountain. That's literally a mountain.
It's a mountain of rice. Like I didn't think a human could eat that much rice for real, and then they'll eat that and more. You know, where I'm just like, my brain can't process what's going on. But so now, do you have any plans to leave? You've been here in India for 2 years, loving it.
Now my plans would be more like so I'm trying to build my own skills and get like to work remotely. So this is my next plan. So I work for a company, I work for them, but I learn for myself also, and I would like to work remotely and maybe start traveling somewhere else.
Yeah.
But for now I'm learning Hindi also, so I want to stay here, like speak properly Hindi, go to the north probably, move to the north because they don't speak Hindi here.
Right.
So be able to live in a village or something like that, and be able to work at the same time. So I need this kind of work to be able to live in villages and be able to survive basically in India.
Right.
And speak Hindi. I really want to improve my Hindi and be able to speak fluently Hindi. So that's my next future.
Yeah, nice.
Plans. Yeah.
Hindi seems a lot easier to learn than some of these languages in the South. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, you cannot make any difference between words. It's like just a full sentence for me. It's like very
it was like, how do you say hello in Malayalam? Blah, 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 blah. It like goes on for so long. Just to say hello? Oh, forget about it. I can't. These languages are too complicated.
And I do have friends from Kerala, and all my friends was like, don't try to learn Malayalam. It's not easy at all. So
no,
don't try it.
Yeah, so I gave up after a few phrases in Malayalam. I was like, never mind. Now, when you first came here, were there any things that you had trouble with adjusting to being new to India?
Like the food, yeah. Like at the beginning, the food was so spicy, and I was like eating no spice at first. So yeah, I have like very stomach trouble for sometimes, but I get used to it now. And after that, it was quite easy because I started like slightly and slowly, and so I started by ashram, so was surrounded by really peaceful people who were just taking care of me. They were happy to see foreigners with them, so really lovely people who was just making me my adaptation really slowly and very easy. So yeah, that was a great chance. Yeah.
That is a good like easing in. You started with ashram, and usually ashrams the food isn't too spicy.
No, it's not too spicy, and it's very, very good also. It's like fresh food, like sattvic food, what they call it. So it's really, really good food. Yeah.
I must say, so I've visited now, I've stayed at 3 ashrams in South India. One ashram in particular has the best dosa that I've ever had in my life. And the funny thing is, I didn't really enjoy the ashram that much. I fantasize about going back just for the dosa. Okay, let me tell you, because it's a kind of dosa I've never had before. Let me know if you've had something like this, or if you know where there's another dosa like this. It would be amazing, because it was spicy. Like they put like this spicy kind of like powder down. I think it was like a chutney powder, whatever, I don't know, or a pickle powder. Anyway, but the cool thing was they had like sauteed tomatoes and onions inside it. It was like a really cool filling based on tomato, but it wasn't like the raw tomato dosa that I feel like you can get lots of places with like raw chopped tomato. This had like sauteed spicy tomatoes filling.
I've never tried it before, but it sounds really good.
Oh my god, it's so good. Okay, so if anybody knows where I can get this, particularly in Bangalore,
let us know.
Please let me know. I'll let him know.
Yeah.
Like, I need this food in my life, or I'm gonna have to go back to that ashram. Either way, it's fine. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you for your time.
All right, there's more to come. Stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. We have a lot coming up here in India, and also later in France, Italy. He's like, ooh, there's so much. All right, I'll see you later.